Welcome back from the break, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, warshippers of all ages. It's time for the semifinals here in King of the Sea International 14. So let's get this going. Starting here on the north spawn of North, looking at the current North American champion, that is KSC, fielding double St. Vincent, Minotaur, presumably a Manitar, yes, Venezia, Petropavlovsk, and a 4-destroyer lineup, Gearing, Kleber, and double Ragnar. So we're definitely seeing a different look from KSC here on North than we have seen leading up to this. What do we got on the south spawn with Penta, Painzor?
Meanwhile, for the EU champions, Penta, we are going to be running Vincent, Des Moines, Petropavlovsk, Stalingrad, Daring, Kleber, Marceau, and a Haragumo. I'm going to quickly fly down here and have a look if we are going to be running that legendary module. We're not. It's just standard Kleber. He's going full gunboat, no AFT, just Fearless Brawler and BFT. So he's you know, none of that stealthy thing that we saw last game, but we are seeing a heavy commitment with all 4 of these destroyers appearing to head to the same side of the map.
Well, and I think what you're seeing there is a reaction to how KSC generally plays North, which is very commonly they would do Smoke, Gearing, and a Nevsky on this flank with at least 1 other destroyer, frequently with 2. I've seen them do that as well. And they would usually try and contest the B cap with a Z52. We saw that strat at least 2 different times leading up to this, but obviously they've made some changes here as, well, they're just not doing that. We got a different take on things.
I think we saw this strat from Penta the other week when they were playing against, I think it was Lair who ran a Petropavlovsk, no, it was Smile who ran a Petropavlovsk, the cruiser, I call it, Sevastopol down the 9 line, and they had the St. Vincent sit there waiting. I think Penta have ran this strat before. We do have some early radar and stuff going out, though, so we probably should talk about these initial deployments. Where have you got for the green team, sorry?
Well, again, we are seeing, as we were talking about, a lot of heavy KSC force going to the A-cap. That's Unforgivable Weave and his Kleber. Cowboys Smoke Gearing, which we've been seeing routinely, very ubiquitous. He's a very regular player of that ship in competitive. Coop and a Minotaur. We've seen that done with a Nevsky, but going for Minnow here. Danny loves his St. Vincent. Quicksilver slashes Venezia. So, again, it's obvious they're bringing the radar, the Minnow, and the Smoke to try and potentially punch out an early destroyer. And Quicksilver has been successful at doing that previously in a deployment like this.
Yeah, Penta's deployment, on the other hand, going to be having Marceau, Kleber, Haragumo, St. Vincent, and Des Moines all hovering around the bottom of the A-cap. B-cap is going to be the Daring and Stalingrad combination. Daring looks like he's taking a very bold route towards the B-cap. Petropavlovsk will be hovering south of the B-cap. We'll have radar range if that Ragnar from them wants to come back in. And the St. Vincent is going to be the lone kiting force holding off the sea flank.
Does look as if Penta's going to pick up A early, and there he does.
Yeah,
Helicopters Marceau reversing in, grabbing just enough of it before he starts to take Minotaur shells and Venezia shells all fall astern of him there.
Yeah, this is the thing. You can just angle your stern, and the Minotaur not going to be able to land too much on you. You can bounce a lot of Minotaur shells.
Yep.
It's very painful and loud while you do it, but you can bounce.
But you don't lose a whole lot of health. It's just a whole lot of noise.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of a whole lot of noise, hello, I am Pin. Sorry, I thought that was funny.
That's okay. Over at C, Raiden does bag the cap in with his Ragnar, so KSC grabs a cap of their own, less than 20 points behind here, 3.5 minutes into the game. B is a bit of a staring contest. They know, Penta knows that Hitachi's Ragnar and Koinel Sanders' Petropavlovsk are up here on this corner. They got caught earlier by that early Stalingrad radar we saw.
Vincent and Des Moines over at the A-cap were being farmed out a little bit by the Minotaur-Venezia combination. They have just had the smoke screen being laid down by them by the Haragumo. The Haragumo was a target ban away from Penta in an earlier series today, and this is what they do with it. They have the Haragumo with the Des Moines in front of it. Angelstone getting absolutely chunked, by the way. He's popped his super heal now. He's just behind the smoke screen. There's a Kleber of Unforgivable Weeb. I mean, all Weebs are pretty much unforgivable, but that specific Unforgivable Weeb is going to be opening up as well. Cowboy getting caught by this radar.
They got a Smoke Des Moines in here, just like our casters were talking about, and they're absolutely wrecking poor Cowboy here.
He might go down.
Well, he very well might. His DCP is 30 seconds away. He's now on a stern fire. That's going to wake his detection even worse. He's going
700,
out.
600,
he's going
goes
out.
down.
That long-duration Des Moines radar, they just use it to assassinate him as they smoke Kinemod's Des Moines right up on the cap.
Yeah, and now your only spotting force is going to be the single Kleber, and he's not running legendary modules. So
and now Coop just a little slow to get underway, where there's the Des Moines AP starts to fall.
Des Moines AP, St. Vincent AP, Kleber AP, Haragumo AP.
St. Vincent AP right through the flat stern of the Minotaur.
He's not having a good time. He's dark, but he's not having a good time. And this is the thing. Now with this force, with this Haragumo, Marceau, and Kleber, they can just push up, and they're going to run into the opposing Kleber. That Venezia does seem like a scary thought, especially combined with the Minotaur, but both of these ships individually can can have their shells bounced by the destroyers. It's only when they're holding different angles that this suddenly becomes a bit of a pain.
Yeah, a bit of a lineup change here for KSC, but the thought pattern was the same. Deploy a lot of force to A, try and bag an early destroyer kill. Penta was ready for it, denies it, and gets one in return.
Taking a look over at the 10 line, we have a lone St. Vincent. He's making his way down there. He'll get there eventually. B cap looks like it's going to be just everybody's teetering around. Everything's on a powder keg, waiting for some sort of brawl to break out. Daring is going to be reversing into the cap to try and get that going. He's sensing single fire conga line torpedoes towards Sexy Colonel Sanders' position. He is going to be running the Hydro, though. He should not get baited by that.
No, Petro's probably going to be okay from that. It looks like he might have taken one earlier because that's the second wave of the conga line torps that have come in. But the Petro radar is down for another 45 seconds. That's more than enough time for SeaRaptor to pick up that cap. So it's just a matter of time, and they'll have those points sticking up for them as well. On top of the ship advantage, it's going to be hard for KSC to fight their way back into this game.
Both of those Ragnars do have their radar available, but neither of them are actually in a position to be able to use it. Speaking of radars, we will see one coming out from Blood Legend, who will be picking up the location of the Petropavlovsk Sexy Colonel Sanders and also Raiden Shogun's Ragnar, so they know exactly what's going on. I'm wondering if this Vincent on Vincent violence is going to break out. There's just these two all on their own. I'm wondering if they're going to get in a fight at some point soon.
Very possible. I'm still keeping an eye over here on the 1-2 line because I still feel like if KSC is going to get back in this game, they're going to have to bag a kill over here somewhere. But Penta's done a really good job of pulling back ships that they don't need to expose. Angel Stone and Kinemod both retreating back from the cap. Still able to fight over it, but no need to over push.
Yeah, Venezia Salvo's coming in at the back. That St. Vincent should be doing a little bit of a chunk. It's not exactly fun, but he's fine. It's 3,000 damage. It's completely the end of the world.
Yeah, definitely not a game for the 7-8-9-9. Most of the action on the eastern half of the map, and Penta's set up nicely to hold and retain control of the B and the C caps here. I'm not sure where KSC is going to break back into this game. If I'm honest, I'm looking at the St. Vincent that they're rotating back from C.
Yeah.
That's Colonel Sanders. Part of me kind of wonders if maybe it wouldn't have been of value to push him farther south and use him to get better angles on either the Stalin or Blood Legend Petro or something, because him pulling out of there is going to leave the C cap open for CEO of Dog to his Kleber to rotate back, and I suspect we're only 2 or 3 minutes away from that cap going Penta's way.
I think he'll be a bit cautious if he wants to dive that, because there is the potential of being jumped on by 2 Ragnars if he makes that play. I think what they need to do is they need to get one of these Ragnars to get split up and go do something else. They're not getting anything accomplished here at the B cap. If they send one to each flank, they can at least maybe start looking for some sort of plays that can then follow it up with the St. Vincent, as you mentioned, down the C flank, maybe find some angles, and maybe use the Ragnar Kleber combination with the Venezia and Minotaur, maybe pick up one of these 3 destroyers that are hovering around here.
Colonel Sanders now headed into this channel on the eastern side of the B cap. I'm wondering, he's obviously moving here looking for a specific position or angle. I'm wondering what it is exactly.
Haragumo, Minotaur Haragumo smoking up the Des Moines. Des Moines and Minotaur going to be both radaring each other over on the 1 line here as this push comes forward. Haragumo smokescreen still being laid down for him. Just going to be gaining ground, forcing them further and further back. Once this radar goes down, there is no way to reacquire this Haragumo. They will just have permanent spotting on him.
Coop and Quicksilver having to retreat to the north here. Quicksilver putting up his smoke, slowing down just a touch so that Coop can get in there. There he goes.
Yeah, we share smoking.
Exactly.
It's good for you.
Is that like sharing a cigarette? Same idea?
Secondhand smoke.
Idea?
It's great.
Yeah, there we go.
Highly recommend it.
Secondhand smoke in Warships, ladies and gentlemen. Well, Coop's managed to break contact. He's not in the smoke anymore, but he's out of range. Torpedo's going downrange on Vile, but I'm willing to bet the Hydro of the Des Moines is going to pick those up. He's going to dodge those. Yeah.
I think the most interesting thing that would be happening is what happens with the St. Vincent of Sexy Colonel Sanders. There is some farming going on to Blood Legend right now from the Ragnar Kleber, but I don't think he's going to be in any particular danger. CEO of Dog looks like he might be going for the rush.
I think CEO of Dog is exactly going to go for this St. Vincent assassination. Colonel was ready for it, hits him, but not hard enough. That was the AP instead of the HE.
Salvo of torpedoes comes out. Two sets.
Starboard torpedoes on the way in.
I don't think he gets a... does he need the reload here? He's got the other side. Wiggly Top dodged.
Nope. He's not able to replicate Angel Stone's feat from earlier.
Oh, he beached!
As now the port torpedoes are coming in. Is it going to be enough in time for these guns to reload? It's not. He's going out.
That beach could have been a lot worse there.
Textbook Kleber assassination. We've seen it again.
Also, the Daring killed the Ragnar. Those were torpedoes
with
as well.
conga line torps?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness, he did. Those conga line torps weren't even meant for him. Coop goes down to the Minotaur. It's all over here, kids. There's just no way. It's almost 900 points. They're pushed off all the caps, really. KSC just not able to get it done here in game one, and I think it all goes back to that textbook assassination of Cowboy, right? We talked about on the NA stream last weekend. KSC preps, they watch for their opponent's strategies, how they function, the kinds of things they do. But it's very clear that they're not the only ones. You watch a game like this, and you can't help but note that Penta's done the same thing. There
was a little bit of clever on clever violence there.
Yep, I saw it.
Wasn't too exciting. One that went broadside, got torpedoed. That's about it.
We're just over the 10-minute mark, and this game is basically all over but the crying. An absolute bloodbath here.
So there were several problems with this game that I saw. That basically they weren't the overcommitment to one side and still managing to lose their destroyer early on, and then not rotating their Ragnar to go cover the destroyer that they'd already lost. They weren't getting much done with the double Ragnar in the middle. And CCAP was left completely empty, and there was no push. Fair enough, there was a kiting St. Vincent there, but you need to do something over that to try and get another angle to try and get a hold of some sort of surround on Sexy Colonel Sanders' Petro. I mean, they just got shut down. They were held out from every angle.
Yep, pretty much a textbook way of just shutting your opponent out of the caps. And once you've got that cap lead married to a ship lead, they have to start. I mean, it's almost impossible to break back in. Zath and I talk about how in a game like Warships, you trade health for board position, but if you're down ships, trading health to achieve board position sometimes is very, very, very painful.
Indeed. Well, we have two analysts who are absolutely dying to get into this, so I think we should throw it back to our good friends Malta and Gaishu.